No, but it's recorded.
What I want to do is I want to turn her this way and
Good morning, folks.
start leading.
Hope you're having a great morning. My girlfriend is
Morning.
basking in the glory of a hanging plant right there. She just put it up. Hope you guys are having a great morning. Welcome to RevInMo with Eric. My name is Eric, and we're going to do some RevInMo. All right. So if you've been following along, basically the only thing you need today is a stability ball. I'm going to show some variations today that require a little bit of weight. So yeah, we'll get going. Other than that, if you're joining in live, let me know where you're from. I'd be interested to hear. And again, if you have any questions along the way, let me know as well. All right, first move, frog rock. So you start standing behind the ball, go ahead and squat into the ball, pubic bone in contact. You're going to be on all 10 of your toes. Toes are pointed forward. You're going to relax the rest of your body over the ball, chin and nose touching the ball as well. From here, you're going to gently press off your feet, cushion yourself in your hands. Press off your hands and cushion yourself back in your feet. As you cushion yourself back in your feet, continue pressing your pubic bone into the ball, which helps traction your tailbone down towards the floor, which lengthens your spine, creates space for that low back and spine. Press off your feet, back into your hands, cushioning with the wrists, elbows, shoulders. Continue dangling your head forward, which tractions and lengthens your cervical spine and neck down towards the ground. And then back and forth on your own regard. I like to connect my breath with this movement, so I'm going to breathe in for a count of 2, 3, 4 as I'm back in my hands, and then breathe out for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 as I'm back on my feet and forward. Breathing in for 2, 3, 4, and out for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's go ahead and do a couple on our own with their own counts. One thing to notice too is if you have equal pressure between all of your toes, right? Keeping your heels up off the ground, staying on the balls of your feet, equal pressure between your toes. If you have really tight hips out there, sometimes it's hard to get your toes pointed forward. So see if you can point those toes forward. You're going to feel that wrapping sensation all from your feet and your ankles, knees, hips. You're going to get a much bigger stretch in your pelvic floor and groin. Let's go ahead and do one more. Great, and now we're going to perform spider. So spider is going to be that same frog position, but now instead of going forward and back, we're going side to side. So again, and I'll just show you from the front here. So I'll start with all my weight on my right hand and right foot. Press off, cushion myself my left hand and left foot. Once more, continuing to press your pubic bone into the ball. Notice your hip opening, creating space in that joint, cushioning with the ankle, knee, and hip. And as well, continue to have your chin and nose on the ball. So once more, you're lengthening your spine down towards the ground as you cushion your wrists, elbows, shoulders. Notice how your shoulders start falling a little bit farther away from your ears. Shoulder blades start gliding a little bit more across the back of your rib cage. And with this side to side, if you want to incorporate your breath, it's a count of 4 in, and 4 out. All right, and go ahead and come out of that. Now we're going to perform dive. So dive once more. Rock position. Just like so. From here, you're going to press off the floor with your feet. Legs are going to come together, reaching out with your hands like you're diving into the floor. From there, elbows are going to bend. Crown of your head lands right in between your hands. So it looks like this. Press off your feet. Legs come together, reaching out. Crown of your head, or at least the top of your hairline, lands right in between your hands. Press off and back. Imagine having a straight line from your head all the way to your toes. And additionally, think about 2 opposite beams of energy, if you will. One going straight up to your head and the one going straight up to your feet. So it's kind of like this tug of war, reaching my feet away from my body, which helps cushion my landing in my hands. Readjust my shorts real quick. Okay. As you perform dive, notice where your head lands relative to your hands. So a lot of times it's easy to overshoot your hands and land your head way past your hands. So see if you can make that adjustment to land your head right in between your hands, like you're diving into the floor. All right, and relax. From here, we will perform snake. So a snake, and I'm going to show you from a different angle. With snake, go ahead and roll yourself, or from that dive position rather. So when your hands are right when you're in your hands in that dive position, go ahead and straighten your elbows. Belly button should be at the apex of the ball. Head is nice and dangled. From here, elbows straight. What I'm going to do is press into one hand. That shifts my body weight to one side of the ball, and right before I feel like I'm going to fall, I press my hand into the other. I press my opposite hand into the floor. So again, pressing my hand into the floor brings my body to one side. I catch myself by pressing my other hand, opposite hand, into the floor. What's happening here is I'm gliding my shoulder blades across the back of my rib cage, in which that movement transfers down my spine into my hips. So you get that passive snake-like movement. So I'm not actively moving my hips. I'm just moving my shoulder blades across the back of my rib cage. At the same time, continue dangling your head. With this movement, it's really easy to start engaging your shoulders. Notice if your shoulders, as you press into the ground, your shoulders start lifting off the ground. See if you can keep your chest as close to the ground as possible in this movement. Another way to really target your shoulder blades is to continue reaching far with your arms. So elbows stay straight. You continue reaching, and that helps you get into the shoulder blades a little bit more and out of the shoulders. Okay, and go ahead and get yourself out of that. Okay, from here, Kneeling overhead rock. So kneeling behind the ball, knees and feet together. If you need to put a cushion under your knees, you can go grab a towel or a pillow, something that works for you, or even a blanket. From here, what I'm going to do is walk the ball out in front. Hips are going to stay stacked above the knees. Once again, arms straight, reaching the ball away from my body as I drop my chest down towards the ground. From here, I'm going to draw my abs into the front of my spine. So notice as I draw my abs in, I'm not changing the angle of my spine. Right, I'm saying spine head all the way to my tailbone, and then I rock forward and back, just an inch. Once again, notice this tug of war of this spinal lengthening as you reach the ball straight out in front of you, and as you tug and reach your tailbone behind you. So creating space through your spine, through your rib cage, as you rock forward and back. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and gently walk yourself up. Great. Okay. Now we're going to perform wave. Wave is like similar to the last movement, similar starting position. It's kind of like an advanced cat-cow. If you've ever done that move, I think a lot of people have. If you've ever done yoga or any basic physical therapy stretching or anything like that. Anyway, with wave, knees and feet once more together. This time I'm going to sit back on my heels to start. Once more, if you're unable to sit back on those heels comfortably, I recommend getting like a pillow or a cushion just to put under in between there so you can start in this position. Walk the ball out in front so your chest drops down to the floor and arms are straight. Starting in that position where you're sitting back on your heels. What I'm going to do now is bring my hips forward. As I do so, I'm keeping my chest low, dragging my chest across the ground. When my hips are stacked above my knees, I'm going to tilt my pelvis, hollow my abs, round throughout my spine, creating space in between each vertebrae, dangling my head, and sitting back on my heels. Walk the ball out in front, chest drops down to the ground again, and we repeat. So hips comes forward, dragging your chest across the floor, and then tilt your pelvis, hollow. Create space through your spine, let your head relax, head, neck, rock, sit back on your heels. Wherever you are, go ahead and perform one more. Awesome. One thing you might notice, you might get some pops and cracks throughout RevInMo, and that is definitely, more times than not, it's a good thing. Just get those joints moving, those joints mobile. Increasing the synovial fluid in those joints, stretching the muscles, what Dr. Edith likes to call fascial remodeling. So that deep ache stretch is us remodeling, literally remodeling the fascia, the connective tissue around our muscles and joints, so then we can be in a much better posture. Next move is squat to overhead reach. So I'm going to show you 2 variations with this. To get in position, go ahead and sit on the ball. You're going to walk yourself down into a squat, like so. Feet are hip width distance apart, toes pointed forward, knees are stacked above the ankles. if I press my feet, gently press my feet in the ground, that um, accentuates its contact with my sacrum on the ball. So it drives my hip bones back into the hip sockets, and then again maintains a strong contact of the sacrum on the ball. From here, I'm going to interlace my hands, relax my upper body and my head into my hands, and then I will press my feet into the ground, slowly extending. Think about reaching, having strong contact again with the toes, pressing your toes into the floor as you extend over the ball, and then bend your legs back down into the squat. And again, pressing your feet into the ground helps you get a little bit deeper into the squat, so long as you can maintain your sacrum on the ball. Once more, press through the feet, extend your legs, continue relaxing your upper body, head, neck, shoulders into your hands as you extend over the ball and back. Once more, continuing to relax your upper body and your hands. If we want to add a little bit extra, you can. So this is where I recommend having a pair of 2-pound weights. I wouldn't really go up above 2 or 3 pounds, especially if you're new to RevInMo, or even 2 water bottles. That makes a big difference too. Just a little bit of weight. So from here, what you're going to do, walk yourself down to that squat again. So same starting position. But now the bells, I've got water bells here, or the weights, are going to start on the sides of my head, palms facing up towards the ceiling. For the first rep, I'll just extend my legs, get to that same position. All of my abs have a strong anchor by engaging my core. Back down to the squat. And then on the next rep, I'm going to extend my legs and reach the bells through the crown of my head. And back. With this move, you can also incorporate the breath. So we're going to breathe in for a count of 6, hold for 4, and breathe out for a count of 8. So breathing in, extending out for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold for 2, 3, 4, and back. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold 2, 3, 4, and back. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Go ahead and do 2 more on your own. Once more, strong connection with the feet. So when you get into that extended position, make sure you have all 10 of your toes engaged, pressed into the floor, creating those high arches, reaching from your toes to your fingertips. Okay, if you get out of that position, drop the bells to the other side. Interlace your hands behind your head. Using your hands, bring your chin to your chest, and then walk yourself up. If that move does not wake you up, I don't know what will. Okay, now we're going to perform knee side to side. So for knee side to side, you're just going to need the stability ball. Go ahead and sit back on the floor. I want to show you 3 variations again, just adding a little bit extra. I definitely recommend, again, if you're new to RevInMo, start with the first 2. I wouldn't recommend the third. Yeah, that's all I'm going to say there. So go ahead and lay back on the floor. Feet are going to be on the top front of the ball, knees and feet together. Knees will be about at that 45-degree angle. I'm gonna have my hands just out to the side here, and then what I'm gonna do is drop my knees to one side. You roll to the outside of the foot, back up to the top, and then repeat on the other side. Dropping my knees out to the side, and back up. As I do this, I'm focusing on hollowing my abs, which helps encourage that extra range of motion in my hip, groin, low back, and spine. You have breathing in when you're at the top, breathing out for count of 4 when you drop your knees to the side. Again, breathe up, breathe in as you come to the top, and breathing out. So you can think about a count of 4 in and 4 out. Second variation, feet are going to be in that same position, right on the top front of the ball. But this time you're going to press the soles of your feet into the ball, and then same thing. So in this position, notice how my sacrum is up off the ground, and then I rotate. So nothing really changes in that regard. This adds a lot more balance and coordination, though. Notice if you perform this move, if you are tensing in the shoulders, neck, head, brow area, jaw, see if you can just let that go as you go side to side. As you drop your knees down to the side, see if you can keep your knees sandwiched together as well. It's easy if we have tight hips for the knees to come apart. I don't know if you see that, but see if you can keep them close together as you roll from side to side. Okay, so continue performing that. I'm going to briefly show you knee side to side, third variation. Just kind of like a little teaser, a little extra for something that you might be able to achieve in the future if you stay pretty consistently with RevInMo. So I'm going to start standing behind the ball. I'm going to roll myself out until my thighs are right on top of the ball. Hands are going to be about shoulder width distance. From here, I'm going to bring my knees to my chest, cross my ankles. So I'm kind of like in this pseudo handstand position. So elbows are straight, head is dangled. And then from here, what I'm going to do is, again, bring my knees down to one side, hip touches the ball, and then I raise my sacrum up to the ceiling by hollowing my abs to get back to that top position. Down, hollow, up. Once again, head is dangled, elbows stay straight. Pretty fun. You get a lot more mobility in there, definitely mobilizing the spine, the low back, getting into those rotational fascial lines. If you try it on your own, you're probably, there's a good chance that it requires even more balance and coordination. So you might fall a little bit, have fun with it. If that's a new move for you, maybe just start with the handstand in that pseudo handstand position and then bring yourself back. If you have any questions, please let me know. From here, we're going to perform skater. So skater, sitting right on top of the ball. For this one, I'm going to show you a variation with the bell as well. So sitting directly on top of the ball, feet are going to be 2 times hip width distance apart. From here, I'm being mindful of my essentials. So I'm going to hollow, which drops my tailbone down towards the ground, lift in my chest, float my head, bring my shoulders down and back. So from here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to press off one foot. That foot or leg relaxes on the ball as I catch myself in the other foot. Again, press off, skate to the other side, just like so. So ultimately, I am balanced in one leg at a given time during this move. Sorry for any extra moves any noises that the ball makes. Just like that. Think about landing with the toes first, which helps create this nice high arch in your foot. Knees stay tracking over the toes, like so. If not, slightly on the outside of your toes. Right, so we don't want to be landing like this with our knee caved in. See if you can either bring the knee out. If that's hard to do, then just bring your foot in a little bit and start with the smaller. It's the wood floor, I swear. Okay, if we want to add a little bit extra, so just to emphasize the essentials that I just mentioned, we're going to take a bell, and you might not be able to see this, but this is just, again, a little bit of weight. You can use a water bottle. You can even just raise your hands up overhead. I'm going to take this bell, reach up overhead, and same skater movement. So now I'm really emphasizing lifting my chest. I'm focusing on hollowing, again, making sure that my tailbone is relaxed and dropped towards the ground, so I'm not extending or having too much tension in my low back, and then skating side to side. If you notice yourself starting to collapse forward or elbows start bending, then take a break. Just have the bell or the weight down at your lower abdominal area. And then maybe try it again, right? Reaching up overhead. Because again, we're getting into that fascial remodeling now in the shoulders, in the chest. And this is not an easy position for a lot of people, especially with the balance and coordination aspect. Okay. And relax. Perfect. So that's skater with a little bit extra. Okay. Now let's perform lunge. So lunge, ball's gonna start behind you. You're gonna have 1 foot forward. Try and get as much space between those toes as possible. Again, toes pointed forward. I'm gonna have the other foot, top of that foot resting directly on top of the stability ball right behind me. So just like so. I'll show you again a little bit variation with the weight, but in the meantime, we're just gonna keep it right here, again at that lower abdominal area. What I'm going to do is press the top of my foot into the stability ball. Got about 60% of my weight in that leg, reaching that leg out behind me, and press my shin and my foot back into the ball, which lunges me forward. And press, lunge back, front leg just passively bends, and forward. Notice this requires a little bit of balance, so I do recommend either you can get like a broom handle and just kind of hold it on the floor here for balance, or you can perform it next to a wall. That might help as well. Once again, press the top of the foot and shin into the ball and forward. Back and forward. You're going to notice that stretch in the quad, maybe in the deep hip there. Again, if you have any, you notice any excess back tension, I encourage you to, again, hollow your abs in this beginning position. See if you can keep that tailbone dropped and then reach back. So what ultimately might happen is that you're not going back as farther, but it's a much healthier position. So you're not arching your back and extending back. You're staying nice and tall throughout the torso, reaching back. The benefit, if you want to add the weight, is just twofold. One is reaching the weight out in front of you, kind of like a counterbalance, like so. Again, I wouldn't go above 2 pounds for this. It's just a little extra tactile cue. And then the second version is taking that bell and reaching straight up overhead. Similar variation with the skater. So we're emphasizing shoulder position, lifting our chest, hollowing our abs, just like so. Let's go ahead and switch feet. This way. I just switch sides, or switch facing directions just for effect, I suppose. So here, once again, to bring yourself back, pressing the top of your foot and your shin in the ball, which brings you back. Then press your shin and the top of your foot in the ball to bring you forward. So I've got, again, about 60% of my weight in this back leg as I'm reaching out behind me and forward. You can think of this move is called lunge, but you can kind of think of it as like he's got that little pulley in the back of his, in his back. It's like someone pulls that, you got that pulley, someone pulls you back and then releases it and you come forward. All right, so pulling straight back. So it's more of like a lateral lunge than an up and down lunge. Once more, you can add a variation with the bell, either reaching up out in front of you or up overhead, making sure you're hollowing your abs, letting your tailbone drop down towards the ground, lifting your chest, all that fun revolution in motion, essential stuff. And relax. Awesome. Wow. Once more, if there's like, and that, I just immediately, as I get done with an exercise, I can feel the immediate benefits. Like from sitting, sitting at a desk like this for all day long, like my psoas, my quads are definitely engaged, but mobile. They're warm. They're ready to go. I might go run after this. Who knows? Don't tell Alyssa because I'm not going to. Okay, plie wall squat to finish. For plie wall squat, you're going to need a wall. Optional again is one bell or one weight. Again, I'm always going to say this, 2 to 3 pounds. You don't need any more. So, ball is going to be in between you and the wall. Walk the ball up. Sacrum is going to be right at the equator of the ball. Feet are going to be, I'm going to bring the camera down a little bit. Feet are going to be, about 2 times hip width distance apart. And toes are splayed out at about that 45-degree angle. So this is you see that? That's our plie position. And the feet are somewhat in front of me a little bit as well. So before I squat, I'll just keep the bell here at my lower down end just to start. Again, lifting the chest, hollow, allow that tailbone down to traction down towards the floor. I'm going to squat through the feet. Press through the feet again, which brings me up. So I'm focusing less focus on my quads and legs and more of just pressing my feet in the ground, which drives my hips and my sacrum into the ball and allows me to get down into that squat. Engaging the feet too, all 10 toes, helps you again form that nice high arch, making sure that your knees are tracking over your toes. And the reason I say bring your feet out in front is because I don't want my knees to go past my toes. They should, go to about my ankle, if not maybe a little bit past. I'm going to add a little bit of a variation. So let's take this bell. Going to reach straight up overhead with 2 arms. And then same thing, so squatting down as I reach. And what this does is that really gets into the abdominal hollowing work, the pelvic floor work. As I reach, squat down. You can imagine your pelvic floor as it's loading, as you come down, and then it rebounds and helps you snap back up. You can play with the breath with this one. It would be a general 4 in, 4 out, and just kind of play with it and see which pattern works best for you. If you breathe in as you go down, breathe out as you go up, or vice versa. For me, I like to breathe in as I go down, so breathing in for 2, 3, 4, breathing out for 2, 3, 4. Go and do one more. And we are all done. Cool. All right. Yeah, so pretty consistently, 30, 35 minutes. Really, that's all it takes to get your day started off right. So I hope you guys enjoyed that.
Let me know in the comment section below. Other than that, I'll catch you guys next Monday. See ya.